Welcome back. We're today Sean's up here helping me. We are trying to get these you're good. Metal plates put in. He's cutting out the glue on the joists, on the top of the joist. We pulled the joist hangers, these middle three joists, and then pulled the screws from the top. Now there's a little bit of glue holding them in. So we're pulling them out. First one's out, you can see up there. We kind of dropped this garage door opener and braced it. And then we're going to be putting these metal 1/4-inch plate steel pieces in across the middle of the beam where the two pieces meet, and brace that. So that's what we're up to today. See if we can, how far we can get. It's good progress so far. It's going smoother than I was anticipating. So check back in a little bit. All right. So hopefully you got to see some of that, but got a couple of these plates up to show you. So we pulled those interior joists. There's still a few bolts that need to go in, but I just roughly put those in. Drilled the holes. Tried to make sure there's enough space up at the top for our joist hangers. And then the bolts on the other side. And then this one, just drilling. So then looking pretty good though.
Hey guys, so today I am going to be planting some grass seed and wildflower seed down in this kind of like open area back here where we had a lot of dirt work done. The seeds that I'm using, it's all native grasses, all native flowers, and I got them at Blake Nursery in Big Timber, Montana. I found them by just doing some research about the native plants because I really wanted to just do native stuff over here, because we've already got some invasive weeds and stuff, and I don't want to deal with that anymore, and it's not good. So but anyway, when I was researching, I found their site and it was so helpful. They're actually kind of a bit of a drive from us, like a little under an hour one way. And just because they had such great information, their website really showed that they knew their stuff. I was like, I'm going to make the trip out there for sure to get the stuff that they have. I got, here, I'll show you right here. So I got a pound of the native Montana wildflower mix here. I got 6 pounds of native Montana grasses. And then, and these are both good for our area that we live in. And then they also recommended that I plant some rye along with it, and that is because the native grasses and flowers will take a little bit to really mature and take up space. And so she said what the rye will do in the meantime, it's very fast growing, so it will protect the little seedlings and the young grasses and flowers until they can really get established. And so that's what the rye will do. And since rye is an annual, it will just die out, so I won't have to really worry about it coming back and like overtaking the space that I actually want for my native plants. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. The method I'm putting down is per their recommendation, so I'm just going to be taking this rake and kind of like raking the ground a bit, and then I'm going to be sowing my seeds. And then they recommended I stamp it down, but because this is a bigger area, what I'm going to be doing is I think taking like a piece of like plywood or just like a piece of wood and putting it down and stamping it. Hopefully that will make it go a little bit faster. This is not flat, so it will be interesting, but I am super excited. The main reason too why we're doing this is we don't want this to be overtaken by the weeds that are all in our property, along our property, because anywhere that you have open soil, you want something in it because the weeds will come. They will come. You tend to be more aggressive than the plants that you actually want in your spaces. So even in your home garden, You know, you want to have all your open space covered with something, whether it just be a ground cover. If you don't, you're going to have weeds, and it's just a nice and more like organic way to prevent weeds instead of, you know, just always spraying your open areas. There's one other thing I wanted to say about this. I'm trying to remember. Well, maybe I'll think about it later. I'm so excited to see some of the results. It's going to take a couple years. They did warn me. They were like, it might be like year 2 that you really start seeing some good production. But I'm just really excited about it. So thanks. It's a beautiful day today and a good opportunity to be outside. Alright, so I think I'm about finished up for the day. I didn't get everything done, but I'll show you what I did do. So I did this area over here, kind of over here, back over there, right here. The board was like, it sucked. It just because it's not flat, it just was easier to stomp things, which made it take longer, but oh well. I wanted to stomp it down. Wanted to make sure it was really pressed down well. So I also came to over here. Kind of like to where that pine tree is. So what I have left is like this area. It's a really small area, but it is super rocky, so I'm not super excited about doing it. Also, it's about dinner time. I'm tired too, and I kind of want to enjoy the rest of the day because it's just so beautiful. But I got this all done, and then back up towards that way, all the way up back behind that, the Squirrel Kingdom / bathhouse. And then I'll show you what's left of my seed, because there are some other areas that I want to put some of the seed. Like I said, there's some spaces where some of the machinery was driving around and really tore up the grass. So this is about down to here now. It was up here. I probably used about 3/4 of it. Same thing with the rye. I probably used about 3/4 of it. And then same thing with the wildflower mix. So yeah, and then I put a little bit of columbine seed down in particular areas where I'll know where to look for it. There were most of the seeds, like a lot of the seeds are down at the bottom of the bag here. They like have actually fallen out of these, but there were some areas that I just crunched these up and just disperse them randomly in case there's a seed or two still stuck in the little pods. But yeah, one thing too I just wanted to like mention is like when you're getting seeds, make sure you do get them from like a reputable source, especially like the mixes. So I did get mixes here, but like I already talked about how credible the nursery was that I went to and how much detail they put into things, and everything's like they source it. So and you can like just by looking at this you can even tell, so you can see still some of the, like look at what that looks like. You can see like the wildflower, like where the seed is held, and the seed's like inside of those things still. And actually, even when I was like grabbing seeds, I had to grab some towards the bottom because the seeds themselves are heavier than like the chaff part, you know, where it just like it separates and it's lighter weight. But anyway, you know, some of those wildflower seed packets that you get like at the big box stores and stuff are sometimes you can get taken advantage of, I guess. Because they might have like filler things in them, and I don't know if you're like me, but I have used those in the past because I'm like, oh my gosh, they're so cheap. Like I've gotten like the big like bottle that was like $3 or something, and I'm like, oh, I'll just spread this stuff anywhere. And I did, and like nothing ever grew. Like maybe like I had a couple of flowers, and it was disappointing. Yeah, and there are people too, like Jordan's brother and sister-in-law, that have been like, yeah, you might want to kind of stay away from those, especially the ones that even say that they might be like local or native, because some of them actually might not have the correct species in them, etc. So yeah, just be careful if you're getting like a mix of seeds for very cheap. That's probably saying something. This was very expensive. For a pound, it was $50. So yeah, this was really expensive. That's why I definitely took my time raking things, like getting the ground prepped a bit, just a little bit loosened up, so it's not like hard ground that I'm just dropping the seeds on, and then raking just a little bit after I put them down, and then tamping it down so those seeds just don't blow away, or so we don't get a big rain and they just all get washed away, because we spent some good money on them. But I am hoping it's going to be worth it. I know it's worth it for like the quality that they are, and that they are native. So that part, that's why we were willing to spend the money on it. The 6 pounds of native grass was about the same cost as 1 pound of wildflowers, and that's just because wildflower seeds are a lot harder to get than your grasses and everything. But yeah, so just wanted to say that, and I am gonna pop up and get you guys updated with what Jordan's been doing today with the steel plates. Here's Jordan. You want to fill us in on what you completed?
So Sean and I got one of each set of plates up, and then got the joists up and rehung. So what we did was, and you saw, is pulled all these 3 middle joists, which were up with joist hangers, screws from the top, and they were liquid nail, or glued on basically with liquid nails. And so we pulled those off. Then we got the plates up, drilled through several of them, and just put the bolts through loosely. So we got the plate up, and then put the joist back up, glued it back up, screwed it, put the joist hangers, new top hang joist hangers in, so that.
Yeah, show them that joist hanger. Like what?
So they go, here's what they were. These are just your standard joist hanger, and then these are the top hang style. So screw them in from the top, and then there's a couple screw holes here, and work good for this plate. Because otherwise, you have to either drill a bunch of holes, which can be kind of a pain.
Yeah, in the steel.
But these are so good, so hold on to them for something else, and then.
I was telling Jordan, that kind of looks cool, that plate like that.
Yeah, I thought so.
But unfortunately, most of it's going to get covered up with foam, spray foam for insulation.
Not
but
5 inch, it's 9 inches, and 5 will get covered.
Yeah,
so
but I mean like the whole plate, that it's kind of cool looking. So just remind them, why did we have to do this?
Probably didn't have to, but these beams are made of each beam is two 2x12, they're two 2x12s. So there's 4 total 2x12s to make this beam up, basically. However, they're 12 and 12, and the joints all butt right here, which probably wouldn't, if I was doing it, it's probably not the best way to do it, because all your joints are here, versus what you probably would want to do is have one set of joints there, and then an overlap, and then the other joint is down over here. So you would do like an 8 and maybe a 16, and then vice versa, a 16 and then an 8. And so your two joints would be there.
Yeah, here I probably can show you guys if I go on the other side of this.
So what we're doing is...
Oh, I don't see the joint. Oh, it's where that plate is. Okay, yeah, where that plate is where those two joined. Yeah, both.
And then we left the plate up there on this side, and then just drilled through it.
Oh, you did?
Yep. For the bolts. So these are the bolts. They're 1/2 inch structural bolts. It's 325 is
Dang.
the code strength for them. They're used for like structural applications, bridges. I mean, not maybe this size, but and then these are all galvanized, coated, so they won't rust. And the nuts and the washers are structural as well. So we kind of went with the best stuff we could. We had a local welder cut these plates for us. There's the matching one for this side, and then the other one's over there. So they're they're 1/4 inch plate steel.
How much do they weigh, you think? One?
I don't know. They got to be 100 pounds.
For one?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And then they have drilled some matching holes so we can run these 1/2 inch bolts through. They're about, I think they're 6 foot long and 9 inch tall.
That's not 100 pounds. That can't be. Here, see if I can pick it up.
I think it's all of 100 pounds.
Ooh, I guess it is kind of heavy. I bet it's a little less than 100 pounds. But I don't think I could lift 100 pounds. No, I know. I probably can't.
Yeah, you could.
I'm thinking about like benching. It's hard for me to like bench the bar.
I don't know. Maybe it's 75 pounds. It's pretty heavy. But yeah, we'll match those through, run a couple washers on either side, and then we'll cinch them down tight, and it'll just provide a good overlap across this this joint, and then same over there. So that was one of the big things I needed done, and I couldn't do it by myself, and Megan probably would struggle lifting those even with me. So my buddy Sean, you saw here, out helping. So huge help. Thank you, Sean, again.
We got him some good barbecue for lunch.
Yeah, we got him some barbecue. It's a little payment. So yeah, it's a big piece of this, and I need to wrap up the other side this weekend as well. Hopefully.
Who gave you the idea for this?
Denny.
That contractor?
Yeah.
So we had a contractor come out and kind of walk the property with us. He was a friend of a friend, and was just kind of walking around telling us like what we absolutely needed, giving us some ideas like this, because he saw all of the joists butting up to one another. Joists, is that the right word? Beams. And he's like, what? He was like, yeah. And so he was kind of brainstorming, and that was the solution that he came up with. So we went with it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, so now, like I kept saying, it is a beautiful freaking day, you guys. Like, it's been nice all week. It's been like the 70s, like lower 70s, which has been like chilly in the mornings and kind of chilly in the evenings. Today it was like 80, got up to like 80, which is still like beautiful. So like I'm here in my t-shirt, whereas the last few days I actually had to have a sweatshirt on. But yeah, I think we're just gonna enjoy the rest of our evening, make some supper, have a beer, just chill. We'll catch up with you guys later. Hey guys, so I am gonna kind of just fill you in a little bit on this secret project I've been working on. So behind me you see this quilt top here. Yeah, this is what I've been working on. It's for my sister-in-law, or one of my sisters-in-law, who is getting married. So it's for her and her soon-to-be husband. By the time this comes out, they'll be married, because this is a gift, so it's secret until then. But this is what I've been working on. So I finished piecing this and putting it together last week, and now what I'm going to be working on is embroidering their, my hand's kind of in the way there. I'm going to be embroidering their last name, so we're actually looking at it upside down here. Let me flip this camera around. Here we go. Here it is right side up. So I'm going to be embroidering their name, their new last name, like right here. And it'll just kind of be, because it's short. And then their wedding date down here. So, and I'm embroidering that in white to kind of tie in that white color. So I'm getting started on that. I don't know if many of you are familiar with the quilting process, but first I designed it, and then you cut out squares. So I've got a few extras over here, some of my scraps here. So you cut out, kind of like I got some different stages here actually. So what you do is you cut out these squares of like the plain fabric, and then you pretty much will take the two colors you're working with, like just like this, and you stack it just right. And then I'm not gonna get it just right now. It's kind of hard with one hand. But then you sew down this either side of this, like so. First, actually, I would draw a line, and then like a 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch on either side. I would sew down the seam, and then you cut it down this way, and then you cut them this way, and you end up with square little, well, okay, that one's not a good example. You end up with little half squares like this that are multicolored. And then you take the other ones, let's see, so this is not exactly right, but you know, whatever color pattern you're wanting there, and then you sew those together, and then you trim it for your final block. And then you build all your blocks, you know, you put them in your rows, like here's some extras I have. So, you know, you like put them, stack them how you want, and then sew them together and just keep building from there. So kind of a cool process, time consuming. But I was telling somebody what I love about quilting is, you know, as soon as you get sick of one thing, you're ready to move on to the another. So like as soon as I was like sick of like cutting out all of like the plain squares like these, I was like, all right, I am ready. And then you start sewing them, and I was tired of that, and then I got to cut again. And then it's fun to really start seeing the blocks come together like this. And then of course after that, when you start putting them together to make your actual design. So yeah, this design was actually inspired by one that I saw on Pinterest, but I made some changes to it, like this solid stripe. I changed that, and I just had to kind of like, I like to work through the process myself, so actually I have a sketchbook here. I'm not going to show you guys theirs. Well, actually, I can't even show you them because they have last names, and I don't want to show that on YouTube. But yeah, but sketching through it really helps me. One, like if I make changes to the pattern, it helps me get my head around how I'm going to do it. So like, you know, with these like the shades of colors, I was like, okay, how am I going to get the blocks to be just one solid color? And then the other thing I love to do when I'm like designing it is like color it in the colors that I'm working with. So I actually did two, here I'll turn around so you can see me again. Okay, yeah, so I actually did two sketches of this one because I wasn't 100% set on what color scheme I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do like blues, but as I was like kind of coloring and playing around, I was like, oh, what if I throw some greens in there, because I really wanted it to kind of look beachy, because I felt like that fits Jordan's sister kind of. Well, they got engaged in Florida and they go to Florida, so I thought that would kind of fit them, and that's like why I wanted to go with that color scheme. And greens, they kind of fit into the beachy thing, you know, seafoam green and stuff. But as I was getting into it, the greens just kind of took over, and I was like, this is not what I was originally imagining. So I'm so glad that I did that process, because if I hadn't, and I just went straight to the fabric store, it would have been hard for me to like see the whole vision in the design that I was wanting, or that I am putting together. So that's another reason why I love to sketch it out first. And I don't know, it's just fun to kind of play around with the patterns and make them your own. But
yeah, so this is what I've been working on. I will show you some more progress as I keep going here. I got the backing fabric. I'll save that to show that to you guys later. Hey guys, I'm just going to give you another update on my super secret quilt that I've been working on. Or I guess it was secret until I released these, because it's no longer a secret for Jordan's sister, who I'm making this for. But I am embroidering now. The last clip I just showed you, I was just getting ready to do it. I was kind of tracing the outline with like a fabric pencil of what I was writing, which was their last name and their wedding date. And so I'm just sitting here. It's a beautiful day today. Oh my gosh, it's like 72 and sunny, like partly cloudy. It's just a great fall day. I am wearing my Husker gear because it was the first game day of the season. It was sad though. We lost. Might have been expected, especially because we played Illinois. I mean, though the first quarter it was promising. Like our defense was doing really good, but that seems to be the theme. It's like the first quarter, it's like, oh my gosh, maybe we'll win this time. But anyway, let's not be depressed here. I'll just kind of show you what I got here. This is not their last name. Obviously, I wouldn't show that, but here's kind of what I'm doing here. So I'm doing the date here, their anniversary. So I'm working on the 2 here. And I'm just doing 2 rows. It's a really just simple embroidery stitch. I'm not perfect, but yeah, this is kind of what I'm doing. This is probably, it's nice because I'm sitting here, I'm actually listening to some like true crime podcasts. But at the same time, like sitting for this long is also hard for me. So I'm really trying to truck through this because I want to get it done in time. Hopefully I do get it done in time, or did. I guess by the time you watch this it'll be past tense, but fingers crossed. Better get back to it. Hey guys, so I'm on the floor here. Tonight what I'm doing for the quilting project is I am basting and putting what basting is, you're pretty much gluing the layers of your quilt together. So I've done it about halfway. Here's like, you kind of see back here. Okay, so here's the quilt top. Then over here we have the batting. I use a pretty thin batting because my backing cloth is actually a pretty warm type of backing cloth, and I don't want my quilts to be like so hot where you like really never use them. And then here's my backing. So what I'm doing is I'm using a basting spray just like this. It's pretty much glue in a can. And I'm spraying and then putting down one layer smoothly, slowly, just a little bit at a time. And then I do the backing. I spray again on top of the batting and put the backing on slowly, making sure everything's running smooth, there's no lumps or anything. And then what I do after this is I go through and I pin it. So I have like just little safety pins, and I go through and I pin rows. And that way when I'm quilting, all 3 pieces just like stay together. Sorry, I'm trying to block out that light. All 3 pieces just stay together, and I don't have to worry about the fabric shifting and stuff like that. So a lot of quilters, they'll only do like one. They'll either baste with the spray and that's it, or they'll just pin it. But I like to do both because I do not like that thing moving. Plus, like when I'm quilting, it's not like I'm sitting down in one sitting and quilting the entire thing. So there's a lot of like in between where like I'm moving the quilt, I'm moving the fabric a lot, I'm folding it up, I'm setting it aside, I'm unfolding it, I'm quilting, and it just repeats that process, so it's easy for the fabric to kind of get out of place. And so I just like to do this to really make it tight. So I'll kind of show you just a little bit about like what it looks like as I'm basting here. So I just like to do like, you know, if I have nice neat rows in my quilt, right now I'm just gonna do about like 2 to 3 rows at a time. Again, just so I'm doing this like a slow process. I want to make sure everything's laying smooth and there's no bumps, because the last thing you want quilting is bumps and lumps.
and then you don't end up with a good product in the end. And of course I'm doing this on like, I have that plywood floor over here still, so I have like little pieces of wood I have to pick off. Alright, and you want to kind of move pretty fast because this, again, it's glue and you don't want it to dry. So you kind of got to move fast. So I just kind of like lay this over, especially in the middle, pull it tight. Kind of getting it smooth here. And that basting spray that I got, you know, it's not so strong where like if I get a really bad lump, I can't just pull it back up and redo it. So it's not like the end of the world if I do have a lump in here. So then I kind of just leave that forward and stretched out because I gotta do my next layer. Trying not to get my phone here. Again, I'm just pulling this middle section kind of taut, and then I'm just kind of pulling out the corner and taking my hand and flattening it. So I'm going to disappear here for just a second because my fabric is going to lay on top of it. There we go. So see, I've got kind of like a fold here, so I can just pull that out actually. There. Sorry for all the moving you around there. And I'm not pulling it so tight where I'm like stretching my fabric. I'm just stretching it flat, like not farther than it's intended to go. Not stretching it out because you don't want that either. Just a firm enough tug to get it to lay flat. And then I just kind of repeat the process. So I fold back the layers to where I ended, and then I do it again until I get to the end. So, and I usually focus on one half, make this little inching, and then I do the other half. So I am gonna just finish up this half, and then I'll kind of show you what it looks like when I get pinning. Alrighty. So I probably have like 3/4 of this thing pinned, not quilted. I wish I had it 3/4 of the way quilted. Yeah, so I'll kind of show you my little pattern here. Okay, so I'm kind of just doing every other row, and then I always do the edges just because you would definitely want those to stay. When you're pinning, I don't know if you've never quilted before, you just put these where you're not going to sew. So the quilting pattern that I'm doing a pretty basic one. I'm just gonna follow the seams here. But like if I was doing something where I was like just coming through these blocks like this, I kind of would want to try to strategically place these because you don't want to run these over with your sewing machine. Like, I guess if you ran them over this direction, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But yeah, you definitely don't want to like run over that or that. You could break your needle. But yeah, so almost, oh my gosh, you guys, Jordan is standing there waiting for me to finish. I look up and he's just staring in the window. That was so creepy. Okay, but yep, this is what I'm doing right now. I'm just gonna finish up and then hopefully I'll be able to get some quilting started tonight. Alright, so here's the finished product, all done. I'll be giving this to, or well, Jordan and I will be giving this to Tressa this weekend because
is their wedding weekend. Here's the back. So I just quilted horizontally and vertically. So I just followed these squares pretty much. I was going to do the diagonals, but I was running out of time, so I decided not to, and it looks good just how it is too. So there it is. All done.
Hey guys, I hope you liked that video. Those are some of the things that we've been up to, but stay tuned for our next video because there is something that used to be on the homestead that is no longer here anymore and is gonna be, it was a lot of work, so it's going on next week's video. So stay tuned for that. If you think you know what might be gone from the homestead, comment below. We'd love to see who maybe gets it right. We would like to see what you're thinking we got rid of, because there are quite a few things we'd like to get rid of here. So let's just have some fun with that. Go ahead and comment on that below. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share us with your friends. Also, follow us on Instagram. If you have an Instagram account, you can find us at Huckleberry Hideaway Homestead. On our Instagram account, sometimes you get some sneak peeks of some things that happen in real time instead of waiting, you know, a couple days, because what you guys see on YouTube is a couple days after what really happened. It's sometimes up to like a week. So if you follow us on Instagram, you can see some of that stuff real time. It's a little bit of a sneak peek. So follow us there. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time on the homestead.